behind every legendary riff, a drummer held the entire band together. These 12 men shaped the sound of an entire decade, and almost nobody remembers their names. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a deep dive like this one. Number 12. Gene Hoglan. At just 19 years old, he was already being called the most precise drummer in extreme metal. His work on Dark Angel's 1986 record Darkness Descends set a new standard for speed and control that the entire thrash community scrambled to match. Double kick patterns that other drummers considered physically impossible became his baseline, executed night after night with mechanical consistency. Hoglan earned the nickname the Atomic Clock, not from a magazine, but from fellow musicians who watched him play live and could not believe what they were seeing. Despite shaping the DNA of extreme drumming, Hoglan spent most of the decade in the shadows of bands that never achieved mainstream radio success, which kept his name off nearly every greatest drummers list written during the era. Number 11. Gar Samuelson.
I go to court when I have to. What do you mean I can't get to work?
Few drummers in 1980s thrash metal arrived with a jazz conservatory background, and fewer still used it to make heavy music feel more dangerous. Samuelson brought an improvised, swinging looseness to the early Megadeth sound that gave tracks like Wake Up Dead from the 1986 record Peace Sells. But who's buying a rhythmic tension no one else was producing at the time? Dave Mustaine has spoken in interviews about how Samuelson's unconventional approach was both a creative asset and a source of friction. His fluid, unpredictable fills pulled against the locked-in precision that thrash audiences expected, creating something genuinely original. When Megadeth crossed into mainstream metal radio success with So Far So Good, So What in 1988, Chuck Baylor was behind the kit, and Samuelson's foundational contributions to the band's sound were largely forgotten by the time the decade ended. Number 10. Ingo Schwichtenberg. European power metal had a blueprint, and Ingo Schwichtenberg wrote it with his bare hands. His relentless double bass runs on Helloween's Keeper of the Seven Keys Part 1 and Part 2, released in 1987 and 1988, defined a rhythmic approach that entire subgenres would spend the following decade trying to replicate. Records charted across Germany and several European markets, making Helloween one of the first German metal acts to break through internationally. Schwichtenberg's style was deceptively complex beneath its speed, incorporating jazz ride patterns and syncopated snare work that gave the power metal sound its genuine musicality. Because American rock media rarely covered European metal in the 1980s, his name never traveled west with the same momentum, and the English-speaking rock press largely missed one of the most technically gifted players of the decade. Number 9. Clive Burr. 3 albums. That was his entire tenure with Iron Maiden, and yet those 3 records helped establish the sonic vocabulary of the new wave of British heavy metal. His contribution to the 1982 record The Number of the Beast, specifically the relentless snare drive and dynamic range that powered the title track, helped create one of the most authoritative rhythm section performances in NWOBHM history, built alongside Steve Harris's iconic bass gallop. Nico McBrain replaced Burr in 1982 and went on to become synonymous with the Iron Maiden live experience, performing thousands of shows and recording a dozen more albums. That longevity naturally overshadowed Burr's earlier work in the public memory. Number 8. Mark Zonder. Progressive metal did not arrive fully formed. It was assembled piece by musicians who refused to accept that complexity and heaviness were mutually exclusive. When Zonder joined Fate's Warning for the 1989 record Perfect Symmetry, he brought a mathematical precision and dynamic range that pushed the band into territory that would later be recognized as foundational progressive metal. The record was not a commercial blockbuster, but its influence was immediate within the underground. Dream Theater, who were developing their sound simultaneously, absorbed much of what Zonder was doing rhythmically, and when Images and Words arrived in 1992, progressive metal achieved the wider recognition that Perfect Symmetry had pointed toward 3 years earlier. Zonder's ability to move between odd time signatures and straight-ahead metal grooves without losing the song's emotional center was a skill almost no one else in 1980s metal possessed. Number 7. AJ Pero. 3 times platinum. That was the commercial reality behind the 1984 Twisted Sister record Stay Hungry, and AJ Pero was the engine driving every song on it. His jazz and orchestral percussion training gave him a vocabulary far beyond what the glam image of the band suggested, and his double bass work on live recordings became a talking point among drummers who paid close attention. The MTV era had a way of reducing bands to their visual identity, and Twisted Sister's theatrical presentation meant that Pero's playing was consistently overlooked in favor of conversations about the band's makeup and outfits. His thunderous snare sound on the opening of Stay Hungry remains one of the most recognizable drum tones of the decade, but it rarely comes attached to his name in mainstream rock commentary. Number 6. Tom Hunting. Before Metallica had a record deal, before the term Bay Area thrash existed as a category, Exodus was playing the fastest, most aggressive music anyone in California had ever heard in a live setting. Hunting was behind the kit for all of it, delivering the frantic, relentless attack that defined the 1985 debut Bonded by Blood and became the rhythmic template for an entire genre. That record is consistently ranked among the most influential thrash albums ever made, appearing in publications from Metal Hammer to Rolling Stone as a foundational document of the genre. But Exodus never crossed over commercially the way Metallica did, which meant Hunting's contributions stayed within the metal underground while his contemporaries became household names. Number 5. Rob Affuso. 5 million copies. That was the American sales figure for the 1989 self-titled Skid Row debut, a record that landed the band in arenas almost immediately and placed their music directly alongside the heaviest acts on radio. Affuso provided something rare on that record, a drum performance that felt genuinely street-level and aggressive, rather than polished for easy consumption. Tracks like Youth Gone Wild and Piece of Me carried a weight that came directly from his attack, which drew more from New Jersey's working-class bar scene than from the Sunset Strip glam polish dominating the format at the time. Among drummers who came of age in the late 1980s hard rock scene, his playing on that debut is frequently cited as a benchmark for tone and aggression that the era rarely matched. Number 4. Ken Mary. MCA Records placed Alice Cooper back into the hard rock spotlight with 2 records in quick succession, Constrictor in 1986 and Raise Your Fist and Yell in 1987, and Ken Mary was the drummer behind both of them. His arena-sized snare sound and precise technical control gave those records a sonic authority that matched the theatrical intensity Cooper was delivering on stage. Mary brought experience from a session and touring background that included work with Fifth Angel, a Seattle-based heavy metal act whose 1986 debut developed a devoted underground following. His ability to adapt between different production styles while maintaining heaviness made him one of the most capable drummers working in that mid-decade hard rock space. Number 3. Wild Mick Brown. George Lynch dominated every interview, every magazine cover, and every conversation about Dokken throughout the mid-1980s, and for good reason. His guitar work on Tooth and Nail in 1984 and Under Lock and Key in 1985 was extraordinary. But the reason those riffs hit as hard as they did had everything to do with the man sitting behind the drum kit. And that man was Mick Brown. His deep pocket groove and heavy snare placement gave Lynch's flamboyant playing a weight and a context that made it feel grounded rather than self-indulgent. Both records achieved gold and platinum certification in the United States, and Dokken became one of the defining acts of the decade's hard rock movement. Brown's nickname Wild Mick was earned through his explosive live performances, which were a consistent highlight of Dokken's touring career. Dokken's rhythm section was consistently praised within the Los Angeles hard rock community as one of the tightest and most powerful of the era, but Brown's specific contribution to that sound has never received the individual recognition it earned. Number 2. Bobby Blotzer. Number 7 on the Billboard 200. That was where Out of the Cellar landed in 1984, making Rat one of the biggest hard rock acts in America almost overnight. And Bobby Blotzer's massive, echo-drenched snare sound was the defining sonic characteristic of that commercial breakthrough. The Rat and Roll identity that the band built their entire career around was constructed on his groove. Producer Beau Hill specifically shaped the drum sound on that record to reflect the Sunset Strip energy that was drawing thousands of fans to the Whiskey A Go-Go every weekend, and Blotzer delivered exactly what the production required. Blotzer received a platinum plaque and a loyal audience, but almost no critical attention, leaving one of the decade's most commercially successful rhythm performances sitting outside most serious conversations about 1980s drumming. Number 1. Frankie Banali. Metal Health was released in March 1983, and by November of that year, it had climbed to number 1 on the Billboard 200, becoming the first heavy metal album in history to reach that position. No metal record had ever done it before. The drum performance anchoring that record, the thunderous Bonham-influenced attack on Metal Health Bang Your Head, came from Frankie Banali, a musician who had spent years paying dues in the Los Angeles session community before that moment arrived. Banali's playing drew direct comparisons to John Bonham in terms of raw power and placement. But where Bonham operated in blues rock dynamics, Banali channeled everything into a pure heavy metal context that connected immediately with a mainstream audience hungry for something louder than what radio had been offering.
Feels alright. Feels alright. I don't need no.
Banali quietly held the distinction of being behind the kit on the most historically significant commercial moment in the genre's entire decade, a fact that deserves far more recognition than it has ever received.